I don't tell this story often. Most people look at me like I've lost my grip on reality, or they assume I was just exhausted, but I know what I felt, and more importantly, I know what I saw in that mirror. It happened 3 years ago. I'd just moved into a cheap, pre-war studio apartment in the city. You know the type. Creaky floors, radiators that clank like a ghost in shackles, and a bathroom mirror with silvering that was peeling off the back like dead skin. The first night. It started with the lag. I was brushing my teeth, staring at my reflection. I spat into the sink, and for a fraction of a second, my reflection didn't spit. It just stood there, staring at me with its mouth closed. I froze. I blinked, and there it was. The reflection was back in sync, mid-rinse. I told myself it was the flickering fluorescent light playing tricks on my tired eyes. I'd been working double shifts to afford the deposit. The perception shift. Over the next week, the feeling of being watched became unbearable. It wasn't coming from the windows, it was coming from the glass. One night I was shaving. I moved the razor down my cheek. In the mirror, the other me moved the razor a second too late. I stopped dead. The reflection's hand stayed up for a beat longer before slowly, deliberately lowering it. I backed out of the bathroom, my heart hammering against my ribs. I didn't use that bathroom for 2 days. I used the sink in the kitchenette. I told myself it was a neurological glitch, some weird form of focal seizure. I even looked up delayed visual perception on my phone. The breaking point. On the third night, I woke up at 3:14 a.m. The apartment was freezing, I had to pee, and I was groggy enough to forget my fear for a moment. I walked into the bathroom and didn't turn on the light. The moonlight from the main room bled in, casting everything in a pale, sickly blue. I stood at the sink and splashed cold water on my face. When I looked up, I didn't see myself. The reflection was there, but it wasn't mimicking me anymore. It was leaning against the back wall of the reflected bathroom, arms crossed, watching me with a look of pure, predatory hunger. Its skin looked like wet gray paper, and its eyes, they weren't my eyes. They were too wide, the pupils blown out until there was no color left. Then it spoke. It didn't make a sound in my room. There was no vibration in the air, but I heard it inside my skull, a wet, tearing noise like boots stepping through mud. "Swap?" it whispered. I lunged for the light switch, but my hand hit something cold. Not the wall, not the plastic switch. I hit glass. I looked down. My hands were pressed against a cold, transparent barrier. On the other side, the real side, the thing that looked like me was reaching out. It flipped the light switch. The bathroom flooded with light. The thing smiled, a mouth full of too many teeth, and began to walk out of my bathroom into my apartment. It stopped at the door, turned around, and looked right at me through the glass. The aftermath, I screamed, but no sound came out. I hammered on the glass until my knuckles bled, but there was no noise, just the dull thud of meat against a mirror. I don't know how long I was in there. Seconds? Centuries? Time doesn't work the same way on this side. Everything is reversed. The text on my medicine cabinet is backwards. My heart beats on the right side of my chest. Eventually, the thing came back. It was wearing my favorite shirt. It looked satisfied. It leaned in close to the mirror, its face inches from mine, and fogged the glass with a breath that smelled like ozone and rot. With its finger, it traced a single word on the steam. Mine. Then it wiped the mirror clean, and I was plunged into total darkness. I'm out now. I found a way back through a broken window in the basement of that building. But I'm not the same. I don't look at mirrors anymore. I've covered every reflective surface in this house with black cloth. Because sometimes, when I'm walking past the hallway, I hear a faint rhythmic tapping. Clink, clink, clink. It's the sound of a fingernail hitting the other side of the glass.